Welcome back to the Colin and Miles Show, episode number 26.
26.
Yeah, just making sure. And I'm Miles, and she's Colin, or, Colin and Miles. So,
yes.
Cue the intro.
So, this is probably going to be our only episode before Christmas. And so, before we get started, I just wanted everyone to see my shirt, but we have to move stuff out of the way. Can you see it? It says Believe with the Santa hat.
Like Polar Express.
Yes, like the Polar
You have to believe.
Express. It also needs a bell on it, I think. Not a real bell, but like a bell symbol. Maybe a bell on Santa's hat.
Well, remember, the bell's only real if you believe.
Well, I want to believe.
So does Percy.
Okay, so that was my little Christmas and my little present ring, if you can see it.
She's full of Christmas cheer.
Yes. So, our number one topic for today, if you've seen our show before, you will know that we've been waiting for this for over a year.
Yeah, the movie Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds, plural, and Snakes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I had to read that off the screen because, whenever I try and remember, it comes out as like the box of Sam and Dean Winchester or something. I don't know.
Well, I want to always say that the snakes first, but I think, okay, it's the way I don't want to say it. That's correct.
Yeah. Well, the movie was A-, I'd say.
I like reading on 1 to 10, so I would
8.
I would say 8.5
Okay. Yeah.
to 9, maybe.
I can agree with that. Yeah. I just feel it was a good movie. They had a heck of a lot to pack into it. It was 3 hours long.
And still, they had to cut stuff out.
Yeah. And they added context in, certain scenarios, not to give away anything.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good movie.
I think it was right up there with the other Hunger Games, maybe like half a point below the others in the, the original Hunger Games movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it kept with the spirit of the book, I thought, and of course we know they have to cut stuff out because of time, and because if they put everything in the book, it'd be like 10-hour movie or something.
Yeah, but as the characters were, some of them were expected, some of them were better, and some of them were meh. The individual played Professor Bottomsworth.
No, it's High Bottom.
High Bottom, whatever. Bottom something. High Bottom. He was played by Pinker Drinkage, which I not as I expected him when listening to the book. I figured that Professor High Bottom was a older gentleman, difficulty walking, and was just not Peter Drinkage. Maybe an Albus Dumbledore actor.
I thought he looked like, in my head, this really tall, kind of hunched over, not hunchback, but just like kind of bad posture, kind of hunched over because of his background and like his internal like sadness. For one, and then I thought he would look kind of like deteriorating because of his drug
addiction, yeah.
And that's not really a spoiler alert. I mean, it doesn't
Read
really
the
give
book.
anything away. But, so, I mean, this guy, he did a good job. It's just not what I saw in my head. And he wasn't as intimidating as I would have liked.
Yeah. the character who played Cornelius Snow, I thought...
Coriolanus.
Excuse me. Coriolanus. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Just call him Corio.
Coriolanus. Yeah. The actor who played him, I thought, did a decent job at representing Coriolanus. However, I was disappointed with the lack of character development in him, because he becomes the anti-hero in the book, if you will, as to, where here he was just, the protagonist, the anti-hero. And there was no, hate to love him sort of thing that you got in the book.
Yeah, and it kind of, he just went from, here to here without really...
developing his journey.
Yeah, without understanding really, how he got it there. Well, I mean, I guess we understand it, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there wasn't the background because of where he came from.
Yeah.
And at least why he was doing the things he was with respect to Lucy Gray. Mm-hmm. And needless to say, it was a good portrayal. However, with Lucy Gray, I'm not convinced that she was the best actress choice for Lucy Gray. That's just my opinion. By heads or tails, I think maybe they could have done better, but needless to say, she portrayed her adequately.
Yeah, and I was okay with her because I didn't have a clear expectation about what she would look like or anything like that. And I was surprised by the portrayal of
Sejanus?
No. I mean, the other professor that now I can't remember her name, which is very silly since I've read the book and did the audiobook and we watched the movie. I should know these people's names.
Well, she was played by a...
Wasn't that Viola Davis, or is that somebody else?
Oh, I can't remember. It was we'll tell you in a second here, it was...
Viola Davis. Oh, Dr. Gall.
Dr. Gall.
So, originally I was upset with the actress pick for that, just because, again, I thought she looked too pretty, because I was anticipating this person that looked like
Viola Davis is a pretty
old
girl.
Witch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she doesn't look old enough. She doesn't look like what this creepy person like I was anticipating. But I was surprised because she really
they dressed her up pretty well.
Yeah, she played it really well.
Her portrayal was really, really good.
Yeah, but, so she was creepy enough.
Yeah, overall it was a good movie. I definitely recommend the book over the movie.
I recommend both, but read the book first.
Yes.
I think I say this all the time. I didn't feel like I was there for 3 hours.
No,
I really didn't feel like that. Sometimes I was checking the time to see how far are we into this. How are they going? Are they going to have time to tie it up? And
they chose shortcuts to wrap it up.
Yeah, and sometimes they combined some things to make it go faster. But overall, very good. We recommend it.
Decent movie.
And we got free cookies during the movie, so that was
she was so impressed with, them being warm, and I'm like, man, if that's all I have to do to impress her with food, just put it under a heat lamp.
But they were cooked correctly as well. They weren't overcooked. Oh, yeah. No, they weren't undercooked. They were just right.
Okay. Little Red Riding Hood.
That's not...
Or Goldilocks. Go on, whatever.
Okay.
Tomato.
Moving on so we can get to everything.
So, we saw a movie that was a background story to 101 Dalmatians, which is Cruella.
Which came out 2 years ago, but we were just watching it recently.
Yeah. Emma Stone does a surprisingly good portrayal of... Cruella. And needless to say, it was a very deep character dive into who Cruella de Vil is. the character deep dive that should have occurred during the movie that we were previously talking about, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yes. So, Cruella, it was very well written, and also the soundtrack was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And the ending blew my mind.
Yeah.
We're not telling you that.
Yeah. So, no spoiler alert for this one.
But you should watch it. It's on Disney Plus, obviously, because it's a Disney movie. So, watch it and tell us what you think.
You want to lead into the next movie? I thought we were doing every other one.
I feel like we should segue why we have a different background, because we didn't say
well,
that.
We will do it there.
Under...
Yeah.
When?
This one. TV.
Oh.
Why wouldn't we?
Because it's not really about anything we're talking about.
Well, now we're talking about it, so... As you might have noticed, we have a different background because our terrorist kitten, Mr. Percy Smokehouse Big Paw Jackson, who you can hear probably in the camera rustling around with a straw, he decides that he needs to climb quilts. And that is not something that, we're okay with.
Because one, it will mess up the quilt. And two, one time when we tried to fold the quilt up so he couldn't jump, he found a way to jump anyway and was on top of the rod. And so that wasn't good. And
so in honor of, one of our favorite shows when we were teenagers, Smallville posters have been put up. So,
yes, that I've had since high school.
And they go together. Smallville.
And just FYI, we've had these up in every other place we lived except here because we didn't have a good spot for 3 posters hanging, together. And so anyway, now we do for now, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving forward to the next portion, Last Christmas.
Which
not
is
Last
movie.
Christmas. It's a movie, which it's a decent movie. What was it on?
Amazon
Prime. Decent movie. It was, I don't know, it was a good, heartwarming movie. There is a video, which we will play shortly.
Which I've also posted to our Facebook page.
Needless to say, Colin was quite not okay with the ending.
Even though I knew the ending.
And so in order to calm Percy down, we have this Christmas sweater that we'll put on him, and you'll see it at the end of the video. But he wasn't running around, and I thought it was so hilarious that he was next to the other 2 cats, because the other 2 cats are like, "Get out of here, you little terrorist." And they weren't, because he had a sweater on, so he was very docile. And it culminated in this video.
Would it be sad to meet your soulmate and they're already dead? You're not thinking of it that way.
Colin?
Don't record me.
I'm watching Last Christmas. And we have our Christmas cats. Oh. So that was pretty funny, to say the least, because I couldn't help myself.
Well, it's funny because Miles just saw the sweater at the store and was like, "Oh, this would fit Percy," and I kept saying no, he's not going to like it, and I'm still correct. He doesn't like it, but Miles just says, "Oh, he's just not used to it." But he doesn't think that he can stand up all the way. And he walks around like a snake, like slithering around. And he doesn't jump on things. He just climbs up everything. And so...
he's getting used to it. But also, it's a good tool because when HP sent someone over to fix our printer, they had, the guy, it was on his laptop, and Percy started jumping up and boom, put the sweater on, and he was calm. So, it's good. But, I digress.
But I don't know if I would watch that again. It's just last year I saw the ending on TV and I wanted to see the whole movie. And so we did, but I'm not sure if I would rewatch it. But I recommend you try it once.
I rewatch it. I think it's a good movie. Okay. Good enough to rewatch at least. So,
moving on to TV.
So?
You start the first one. It's a show you really like.
So you'll understand like why we're going back and forth, if you stay around for the end. So Superman and Lois is in season 3.
Yeah,
we just finished season 3. I am very much liking the fact that they brought Doomsday Superman into the fold, which also collectively, yeah. So I was looking into the older comics, and it seems that specifically, they transitioned Bizarro World Superman into Doomsday Superman, which I think is a unique twist. I can't remember I just remember Doomsday Superman in the comics. I don't remember Bizarro having changed into Doomsday Superman, which I may be wrong. Heck, they have so many variations. Yeah. But I'm happy with, where they're heading. I guess they're only coming back for another season. Is that right?
I don't know. They are coming back for
another
another
season
coming back. When most shows were canceled on the CW.
Yeah. So I'm happy about that because now we get to figure out, who wins the battle between Superman and Doomsday Superman. Spoiler alert, it's Superman.
Well, I didn't like this season at all. I once told Miles he should just watch it without me.
Yeah, I ignore all of the personal.
But I like that
stories.
stuff. Usually, I like the.
Imagine that
story.
She likes personal, heartfelt, and I like
didn't
action.
need a story where Lois goes through breast cancer. I didn't need that. I didn't need to feel sad when I'm trying to just watch a superhero show.
Yeah, it's kind of like they've taken this and amalgamated it into like a soap opera action, and it's like I'll ignore all that. Like it provides some decent storyline, but it's like whatever.
Yeah. So moving on to another show that we just watched, which was canceled and was on season 4. Nancy Drew, which I really liked. But at least they knew ahead of time that they were getting canceled, so they actually tied up this series, and so that's good.
Yeah, they tidied it up a little too quickly, in my opinion.
They had to.
Yeah, but hey, nonetheless, I think it was good. And there's, just one slightly enormous issue I have with season 4.
Okay.
Which I didn't realize until the last few episodes. I'm supposed to believe that entire series happened over the span of 1 year.
I don't think it did. He thinks it did.
Because they make the comment in season 4, it's been a year since my mom died.
Well, I guess you're right, but I'm like, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
It's been over 4 years because they had a break during COVID, right? So it doesn't make any sense. And all these relationships happening and all these weird things, that had to have been like 3 years.
Yeah, well, and because if it wasn't, Nancy Drew's a sorry.
I have to censor you.
What? That's not a censorable
That
word.
is a censorable. That's not a family-friendly word. We're doing a family-friendly show here.
All right. Well, okay. Well, we'll censor that, I guess. I don't think is a...
You're saying it so many times. We have to bleep you out so many times.
Okay. So, moving on to Kitchen Nightmares, which came back, and...
Oh, we didn't even finish our Nancy Drew talk.
Oh, okay. What's our Nancy Drew talk?
I was going to say that I didn't like season 3, but I really liked season 4, and I wanted it to continue. So... CW and Nexstar and all those people that bought CW, I'm mad at you.
Oh, man. Well. They should really consider moving some of the things they cancel over to streaming services.
Well, I mean, maybe they will, but that show's on a streaming service we don't get yet.
Yeah. Boo. Well.
That's why I'm going to purchase the DVDs.
I'm a big fan of having DVDs. I think it's really cool. We should get the bonus features, you get deleted scenes, you get editor or producer cuts. Really nice.
Yeah.
So, Kitchen Nightmares, they brought it back, and it's a little more confusing than it used to be because like, they go in and Gordon Ramsay says, you know, in his accent, shut it down, shut it all down.
That's his new phrase.
Yeah. Is everybody out? And, you know, they shut down a restaurant and then, like, they harp on, I can't believe it's so bad. And then immediately cut to, but we're going to remake the entire restaurant. What happened?
I'm checking our time.
Oh, okay.
We only have 9 minutes.
Well, you have time. So, they, you know, essentially find, you know, the heinous thing wrong with the place. And then there's no discovery as to how they actually fix it. There's one episode where they send a guy to pizzeria to discover how to make pizza, which is nice. But it, you know, it's like a 3-minute segment in like at least the first 4 or 5 episodes of that, right?
We've only seen like 4. Because after that, I was like, they're all the same. I just wanted to see what it was like again, like when they brought it back, because we saw old episodes a long time ago when we lived in South Carolina.
Yeah. Because if it were up to me and I was a producer and I had decision making, I'd say send it back, you know, because it needs to be reworked. It's all cookie cutter, and you know it's not as good as it previously was.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the same. We don't know because we never watched them like over consecutively. I think it was always the same like that. They come in, he finds problems, they remodel the place. It's always the same. It's just this seemed, when we were seeing it like every week, I was like, this is the same, kind of boring. Like,
yeah. I like a little bit of mixing it up.
Yeah.
So
the next show is a show that I wish had more episodes.
Upload.
Which is also on Amazon Prime.
And it is
we've talked about it before.
Yeah, it's still hilarious. I don't know what to say about it, except for they should have had more episodes, because this season was truncated.
They only had 8 episodes, and so I was like, I really don't want to wait a year for the next season.
Because they left it on a cliffhanger.
Of course.
But that means it's coming back.
Well, that doesn't always mean that.
Well,
but with streaming services, I think it's more likely than on TV.
Yeah.
Or cable, or whatever you want to call it. Network TV.
But I would definitely recommend it's a good comedy if you like any of Greg Daniels' work. The Office, Parks and Rec.
Space Force.
Parks and Rec.
Space Force, which got canceled, by
Parks
the way.
and Rec.
Okay, well, you're going to say it so many times.
Well, I know. I was going to say something and you'd say something.
Okay, well.
I finally got her to, be amenable to watch Parks and Rec.
Maybe when we're done with a bunch of other shows we're watching. Next is another, well, you have to do this.
Oh, the Santa clauses. Like clauses in a contract, but this time it's Tim Allen and he's back and making Toy Story references inside of Santa costume. And needless to say is I like this series. It's a fun twist on, 20 years, 30 years later, rather.
Yeah.
Down the road of Scott Calvin, being Santa and trying to pass it on to his son.
Well, no, it's not. Well, I mean, he's been Santa for 30 years, but it's actually 20 years since, not quite 20 years since the last movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 06. Was that 06?
I don't remember.
Anyway, I was surprised it came back for season 2. I thought it was kind of just a limited thing that they had last year, and I thought it was only supposed to be
I thought it was too, but maybe they got good enough ratings that they're like, hey, let's continue this on. But it was good. How are we on time?
What, a little less than 5 minutes?
Oh, we have plenty of time. So needless to say,
that's on Disney Plus,
and it is interesting to say. In fact, the new episode comes out today, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna watch that tonight.
Now I need to add something to this list that I forgot real quick.
What do you got?
We started watching this other show that's a few years old on Netflix. I think it was 19.
What's it called?
Merry Happy Whatever.
Merry Happy. I'm adding it to the list. You told me to.
Merry Happy Whatever. It's a sitcom, but it's a Christmas themed sitcom.
It's a short sitcom. It's a
30,
short com.
30 minutes.
No. Like, it only has so many episodes.
It only has 8 episodes because it got canceled. Yeah. Because Netflix always brings out a show and cancels it after the first season because that's what they do. No matter what the ratings are.
We're 3 episodes in, right?
4.
4. I like it. I think it's a good context. She doesn't like Dennis Quaid in this capacity.
No, and I liked him before. Now I'm rethinking that.
No, Dennis Quaid is good. He plays like a meaner Tim Allen's character from Mike Baxter from Last Man Standing.
Yeah, much meaner.
Bon appetit.
Well, I am only continuing to watch it since there's only 8 episodes, so.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and because I originally just wanted to see it because it had 2 people from the Disney Channel. Ashley Tisdale and Bridget Mendler.
It is a decent show. I enjoy it. I'm interested to see how the 8 episodes unfolds, and if they leave it on a cliffhanger, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. And maybe I'll write a lengthy letter to Bob Iger of Disney.
Okay.
So moving on to what's upcoming is we are going to be obviously we square dance, and there is a Spirit of 76 PJ party. She bought us matching pajamas.
No, my mom did.
Her mom bought us matching pajamas.
Which I have never been on board with before because I always think the matching family pajamas is
Which coincidentally leads me into the next subject because I want to wear said matching pajamas to the showing of Elf in theaters.
I'm only wearing the shirt, not the pajama pants.
Well,
I will wear the shirt because it looks like an actual t-shirt.
Time will tell.
I'm not wearing pajama pants in public.
Well, we'll see.
But we are going... last year, Flick's Brew House, which we talked about many times on here, had in December, they play old Christmas movies. I mean old, like, previous from not this year,
They don't play Die Hard, though.
And so... I think they might actually.
It's Christmas
I think they might. But anyway, this year I decided to get to see Elf because it's the 20th anniversary, and it fell on a day that we could actually go. Polar Express, not so much because it's in the middle of the day most of the showings. So, I said we can go next year because next year will be the 20th anniversary for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be fun.
But anyway, we're gonna see Elf in theaters, and I haven't seen that since 8th grade in theaters, because that's when it came out. I'm so excited.
It will be fantastic. But other than that, I think that wraps it up. Come back next time to see if Colin actually wears her full pajamas to the theater.
And we want to wish everyone a belated happy Thanksgiving and also a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if we don't see you.
We'll see you. Not romantically or anything. Or intimately, but we may see you in person.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Now, we're cutting this part out. This time you're going to let me talk sometimes. Last time you led every category. You introduced every category.
I will make sure.
We're doing every other one.
Oh, yeah. And if you think I'm cutting this out, I'm not putting it at the end, you're crazy.